I'm sitting in the kitchen, the hum of the refrigerator filling the silence, my coffee gone cold. The clock on the wall ticks past 2 a.m., and I'm staring at the screen of my laptop, my gut twisting like it's caught in a vice. My name's Daniel, and for the last 15 years, I've built a life with Claire. A good life, or so I thought. 2 kids, a mortgage, a dog named Rusty, and a rhythm to our days that felt like it could carry us into old age. But tonight, I'm not so sure anymore. Tonight, I'm holding a truth that's burning a hole through everything I believed. Started 3 months ago, a nagging itch I couldn't scratch. Claire's always been a creature of habit. Yoga at 6 a.m., coffee with oat milk, her phone face down on the counter while she scrolls through emails. But lately, she's been off. Her phone's never out of her hand now, and when I walk into the room, she flips it over like she's hiding something. She's been late coming home from work, blaming it on client dinners or last-minute meetings at the ad agency where she's a senior copywriter. Her laugh, that bright, unguarded sound I fell in love with, has been replaced by distracted hums. Her eyes darting away when I ask about her day. First, I chalked it up to stress. Her agency landed a big contract with a tech startup, and she's been burning the candle at both ends. I told myself it was nothing. Marriage ebbs and flows, right? But then there were the little things. A new perfume I didn't recognize, sharp and musky, clinging to her clothes. A receipt for a wine bar I'd never heard of, tucked in her purse when I was looking for the car keys. And the way she'd linger in the bathroom, the soft glow of her phone lighting up her face as she typed furiously, thinking I was asleep. I'm not proud of what I did next. I'm not the kind of guy who snoops, or at least I wasn't. But doubt is a poison, and it spreads. 2 weeks ago, I waited until she was in the shower, her phone left on the nightstand. My hands shook as I picked it up. She changed her passcode, another red flag, but I knew her well enough to guess it. The kid's birthday's 0412. The screen unlocked, and I went straight to her messages. There it was, a thread with a contact saved as J. No last name, just an initial. The messages were careful, too careful, no explicit declarations, but the tone was intimate, familiar. Can't wait to see you tomorrow, one said. Missed you at the bar last night. Another. My heart thudded in my chest, each word a hammer strike. I scrolled further, finding plans to meet at a hotel downtown, a place called the Meridian, where she told me she was attending a team-building retreat last weekend. There were no photos, no smoking gun, but the subtext was clear. My wife was slipping away, and I hadn't even noticed. I put the phone back before she got out of the shower, my mind racing. I wanted to confront her, to scream, to demand answers, but something held me back. Maybe it was fear. Fear of breaking the fragile shell of our life. Fear of what the truth would mean for our kids, Sophie and Ethan. Or maybe it was something colder, something that wanted proof before I burned everything down. So I started digging. I'm a data analyst by trade, and if there's one thing I'm good at, it's finding patterns. I logged into our shared credit card account, combing through statements. There were charges I couldn't explain. Lunches at upscale bistros, a boutique hotel booking, even a charge for lingerie from a store she'd never mentioned. I cross-referenced dates with her work trips and found overlaps that made my stomach churn. I even checked her location history through our family's shared app, something we'd set up for the kids' safety. Her phone had been at the Meridian on nights she told me she was working late. The final straw came yesterday. I was in the garage, sorting through a box of old camping gear, when I found a small velvet bag tucked inside a sleeping bag we hadn't used in years. Inside was a man's watch. Expensive, sleek, with an inscription on the back, "To Jay always." It wasn't mine. I stood there, holding it, feeling like the ground had dropped out from under me. Claire doesn't buy gifts like that for me, not anymore. And the inscription, it was too personal, too tender for a colleague or a friend. I didn't sleep last night. Instead, I planned. I needed to know who Jay was, needed to see it with my own eyes. So, tonight, I'm sitting in my car across the street from the Meridian, a boutique hotel with frosted glass windows and a discreet entrance. Claire told me she had a late meeting with a client, but her phone's location says she's here. I've been watching the entrance for an hour, my hands gripping the steering wheel, my breath fogging the windshield. I'm not sure what I'm waiting for, her to walk out, maybe, or someone else to walk in. That's when I see him. A man, tall, broad-shouldered, in a tailored coat, steps out of a black SUV. He's maybe 40, with dark hair and a confident stride, like he owns the place. He glances around, then pulls out his phone, typing quickly. My own phone buzzes in my pocket, and I freeze. It's a notification from the family app. Claire's location just updated, still inside the hotel. I look back at the man, and something clicks. I've seen him before in photos from Claire's work events, always in the background, smiling too easily. His name's Jeremy, a creative director at her agency. Jay! My blood runs cold. I watch him disappear through the hotel's revolving door, and it's like a switch flips in my head. I don't feel anger. Not yet. Just a clarity, sharp and dangerous. I need to know exactly what's happening, how deep this goes. I grab my phone and open an app one downloaded last week. One that mirrors text messages if you have the target's iCloud credentials. I'd hesitated to use it, knowing it was a line I couldn't uncross. But now I'm past caring. I log in with Claire's credentials. Thank God she still uses the same password for everything, and wait. The messages load, and there it is, a new thread with Jeremy. Room 412. I'm here, he writes. Her reply comes seconds later. Be up in 5. Can't wait. My vision blurs, and I grip the phone so hard I think it might crack. Room 412. I know what's happening up there, and the images in my head are like knives, each one cutting deeper than the last. I could storm in, make a scene, drag her out. But that's not me. I'm not the guy who yells in public or breaks things to feel better. I'm the guy who plans, who analyzes, who waits. And right now, I'm planning something else entirely. If Claire thinks she can slip out of our life, our family, for stolen moments with Jeremy, she's about to learn what happens when you underestimate someone like me. I drive home, the city lights blurring past, my mind already working through the next steps. I don't want a confrontation, not yet. I want her to feel the weight of what she's done, to understand the cost. I pull into our driveway, the house dark except for the porch light Claire always leaves on. Inside, I check on the kids. Sophie's sprawled across her bed, her stuffed panda clutched tight, and Ethan's snoring softly, his science project half finished on his desk. I stand there watching them, and the ache in my chest grows. This is what she's risking, what she's throwing away. Back in the kitchen, I pour myself a whiskey, the burn grounding me. I open my laptop again and start mapping out what I know. Jeremy's LinkedIn profile is easy to find. Creative director at Claire's agency. Married, no kids. Lives in a swanky condo downtown. I dig deeper, pulling up public records, social media, anything I can find. He's got a wife, Emily, who posts about their perfect life. Vacations in Bali, charity galas, a golden retriever named Max. I wonder if she knows, if she's as clueless as I was. I start cross-referencing dates, building a timeline. Claire's been meeting Jeremy for at least 6 months, based on the credit card charges and messages. They've been careful but not careful enough. I find an email in her work account, forwarded to her personal one by mistake, confirming a reservation for 2 at a vineyard getaway next month. She told me it was a girls' trip. The lies are piling up, and with each one, my resolve hardens. I'm not just going to catch her. I'm going to make her pay. Not with violence or shouting matches, but with something sharper, something that cuts deeper. I start thinking about her career, her reputation, the things she values most. Claire's always been ambitious, the kind of woman who thrives on praise, on being the best in the room. Jeremy's the same, from what I can tell. A golden boy who's never had to face real consequences. I pull up the agency's website, noting the names of their biggest clients. I know enough about Claire's world to understand how fragile it is. Ad agencies live and die on trust, on relationships. A scandal, even a whisper of one, could unravel everything. I start drafting an anonymous email, careful to keep it vague but pointed, hinting at inappropriate conduct between a senior copywriter and a creative director. I don't send it, not yet. It's just a piece of the puzzle, one I'll use when the time is right. By the time the sky starts to lighten, I've got a plan. It's not about destroying Claire, not entirely. It's about showing her what betrayal feels like, about making her live with the consequences of her choices. I close my laptop, finish my whiskey, and head to bed. Claire will be home soon, slipping in quietly, thinking I'm none the wiser. Let her think that. Let her believe she's safe. For now, I'll play the part of the oblivious husband. I'll smile at breakfast, kiss her goodbye, and watch her leave for work. But I'm watching now, really watching, and when I'm ready, I'll pull the thread that unravels her world. She's not the only one who can keep secrets. The morning after I sat in my car outside the Meridian, I wake up to the smell of coffee and the sound of Claire humming in the kitchen. It's a sound that used to feel like home, but now it's a blade, twisting with every note. I lie in bed for a moment, staring at the ceiling, letting the weight of last night settle into my bones. My plan is forming, piece by piece, like a mosaic I'm building in the dark. I'm not just going to confront Claire. I'm going to dismantle the life she's trying to build behind my back. And I'm going to do it so precisely she won't see it coming until it's too late. I pull myself out of bed, splash water on my face, and head downstairs. Claire's at the stove, flipping pancakes for the kids, her hair tied up in a messy bun. She looks like the woman I married, bright, capable, the center of our little universe. But I see the cracks now. The way her smile doesn't quite reach her eyes, the way she glances at her phone when she thinks I'm not looking. Sophie and Ethan are at the table, arguing over who gets the last blueberry pancake, and I force myself to play the part. "Morning," I say, kissing Claire on the cheek. She tenses just for a fraction of a second, but I notice. "Morning, babe," she replies, her voice light practiced. "You sleep okay?" "Like a rock." I lie, pouring myself a coffee. I sit at the table, watching her move through the routine, and I wonder how long she's been this good at pretending. The kids finish eating and run upstairs to get ready for school, leaving us alone. I wait, sipping my coffee, until she starts loading the dishwasher. "Big day at work?" I ask, keeping my tone casual. She doesn't look up. "Yeah, we've got a pitch for the tech startup. It's a lot, but it's exciting." Her words are smooth, rehearsed, but I know better. The tech startup pitch was last week. I saw the email chain in her work account. Today, she's meeting Jeremy. I checked her messages last night after she fell asleep. "Lunch at the Ivy, 1 p.m., he wrote. "Wear that blue dress I like." I nod, like I believe her, and head to my home office. I've been working remotely since the pandemic, which gives me the flexibility I need to keep digging. My job as a data analyst is all about patterns, and I'm applying that skill to Claire's life now, mapping her lies like I would a dataset. I pull up her calendar, sync to our family app, and cross-reference it with the messages from Jeremy. Lunch at the Ivy today, a client dinner tomorrow, and that vineyard getaway in 3 weeks. Each event is a thread, and I'm weaving them into a net. I spend the morning working on my actual job, running reports, answering emails, but my mind is elsewhere. I'm building a dossier, a digital vault of everything I've found. Screenshots of her texts with Jeremy, PDFs of credit card statements, even a photo of that damn watch I found in the garage. I'm careful, saving everything to an encrypted folder on my laptop, password protected with a code Claire would never guess. I also set up a burner email account, one I'll use for the anonymous tips I'm planning. The agency's clients, Jeremy's wife, even the HR department, they're all potential pressure points. I'm not ready to pull the trigger yet, but I'm laying the groundwork. By noon, I'm restless. I tell myself I won't do it, but I end up in my car driving toward the Ivy. It's a chic restaurant downtown, all glass and greenery, the kind of place where ad execs schmooze clients over overpriced salads. I park a block away, my hands sweaty on the wheel. I don't plan to go inside. I'm not that reckless, but I need to see them together, need the visual to make it real. I wait, my eyes fixed on the entrance, until I spot Claire's blue dress, the one Jeremy mentioned. She's laughing as she steps out of a cab, her hair catching the sunlight. And there he is, Jeremy, waiting for her, his hand brushing her lower back as they walk inside. It's a small gesture, but it's enough. It's intimate, proprietary, and it makes my stomach lurch. I snap a few photos with my phone, zooming in to catch their faces. They're careful in public. No kissing, no overt affection. But the way they lean toward each other, the way she touches his arm, tells me everything I need to know. I sit there for an hour, watching through the restaurant's floor-to-ceiling windows, until they leave. They don't head back to the agency. Instead, they walk toward the Meridian, his hand on her elbow now, guiding her. I don't follow. I've seen enough. Back home, I dive deeper. I log into Claire's work email again. She really needs to change her passwords and find a thread between her and Jeremy about a project they're supposedly collaborating on. As a cover, I realize a way to justify their time together. The emails are professional, but there's a subtext, a shorthand that only makes sense if you know what to look for. I also find a draft of a presentation for the tech startup, one Claire's been working on for months. It's her baby, the kind of project that could land her a promotion. I file that away for later. My next move is riskier. I need to know more about Jeremy, about his life outside the agency. I create a fake LinkedIn profile, some generic name, a stock photo, a vague job title, and connect with a few people from his network. It's easy enough to pose as a headhunter, asking casual questions about his reputation, his work style. I learn he's ambitious, charming, but prone to cutting corners. His colleagues like him, but there's a whisper of arrogance, a sense that he thinks he's untouchable. Perfect. I also track down Emily, his wife. Her Instagram is public, a curated gallery of their perfect life. She's a graphic designer, works freelance, and seems oblivious to Jeremy's double life. I wonder how she'd react if she knew. I draft another anonymous email, this one addressed to her, hinting at an affair without naming Claire directly. I don't send it. I'm not ready to escalate that far, but it's another piece of my arsenal. The kids come home from school, and I switch gears, helping Ethan with his science project while Sophie practices her violin in the living room. Claire gets home late, claiming traffic, and I play along, asking about her day, nodding at her vague answers. Over dinner, she's distracted, checking her phone under the table. I catch Sophie watching her, a frown creasing her forehead, and I realize the kids are starting to notice something's off. That hardens my resolve. This isn't just about me anymore. That night, after Claire's asleep, I dig into the agency's client list. The tech startup, NextGen, is their biggest account, and Claire's presentation is the linchpin. I find their contact info on the agency's website and draft another anonymous email, this one suggesting that the creative team might be distracted by personal entanglements. I'm careful to keep it vague, no names, just enough to plant a seed of doubt. I schedule it to send in a week, giving me time to refine my plan. Over the next few days, I keep up the facade. I kiss Claire goodbye each morning, pack lunches for the kids, and work on my reports. But I'm also watching, always watching. I install a tracking app on my phone, link to Claire's, and monitor her movements. She's at the Meridian twice more that week, each time with Jeremy. I start collecting more evidence, photos, receipts, even a parking ticket from a lot near the hotel. I'm building a case, not for a courtroom, but for something far more personal. I also start reaching out to old contacts, people I haven't spoken to in years. One's a private investigator, a guy I worked with on a fraud case a decade ago. I call him, keeping it vague, and ask if he can dig into someone's financials, maybe their travel records. He agrees, no questions asked, as long as I cover his fee. I give him Jeremy's name and a few details, and he promises to get back to me in a week. By the end of the week, I'm ready to tighten the screws. I know Claire's planning to meet Jeremy at a conference in Chicago next month. Another work trip. I find the hotel booking in her email and call the front desk, posing as Jeremy to confirm the reservation. It's a double room, booked under his name, but paid for with Claire's corporate card. Sloppy. I note the dates and start planning how to use them. I'm not angry anymore. Not the way I was that first night. The anger's been replaced by something colder, more focused. I want Claire to feel what I felt, standing in that garage with that watch in my hand. I want Jeremy to lose the smug confidence I saw in his stride. And I want it to happen on my terms, when they least expect it. As I sit in my office, the house quiet around me, I open my laptop and pull up the anonymous email to NextGen. I tweak the wording, making it sharper, more insinuating. I also draft one for the agency's HR department, hinting at a breach of conduct. I'm not sending them yet. I'm waiting for the right moment, when the fallout will hit hardest. Maybe the day of Claire's big presentation, or the morning of their Chicago trip. I want them to walk into it blind, thinking they're safe, only to find the ground crumbling beneath them. I close my laptop and lean back in my chair, the whiskey bottle calling my name. I pour a glass, savoring the burn, and let my mind drift to the final piece of my plan. It's not enough to expose them, to ruin their careers or their reputations. I want something more personal, something that'll linger. I'm not there yet, but I'm getting close. The trap is set and they're walking right into it. The weeks leading up to the Chicago conference pass in a blur of routine and calculation. I'm living two lives now. The husband who smiles at Claire over breakfast, who helps Ethan with his algebra and listens to Sophie's violin recitals, and the man who's meticulously orchestrating the downfall of his wife's secret world. Every day I add to my dossier more screenshots, more receipts, more fragments of their deception. The private investigator I hired comes through with a goldmine. Jeremy's financials show regular payments to the Meridian, cross-referenced with Claire's work trips. There's also a trail of Venmo transactions between them, small amounts labeled innocently, coffee, lunch. But the frequency tells a different story. It's a web of lies, and I'm holding every thread. Claire's oblivious, or at least she thinks she is. She's been brighter lately, more affectionate, like she's trying to compensate for something. She brings home takeout from my favorite Thai place, lingers in the living room to watch a movie with me, even suggests a family camping trip to reconnect. I play along, nodding, smiling, but inside I'm seething. Her warmth feels like a performance, a way to keep me placated while she plans her escape to Chicago with Jeremy. I know about the trip. Her email confirms a flight booked for next Friday, a 3-day conference where she's presenting to NextGen, the tech startup. Jeremy's booked on the same flight, same hotel. They're not even trying to hide it anymore. I decide that's when I'll strike. The conference is the perfect stage. Claire's at her most vulnerable, banking everything on that presentation, and Jeremy's there, smug as ever, thinking he's untouchable. I've been refining my plan, sharpening it like a blade. The anonymous emails are ready, queued in my burner account, set to hit inboxes at precise moments. One to NextGen's CEO, hinting at unprofessional conduct by the agency's creative team. Another to the agency's HR director, suggesting a breach of ethics. A third to Emily, Jeremy's wife, with just enough detail to make her question everything. I've also got a folder of evidence, texts, photos, receipts, ready to send if I need to escalate. But I'm not stopping there. I want something more visceral, something that'll hit them where it hurts most. The private investigator digs up OE last piece. Jeremy's been angling for a promotion to partner at the agency. It's a big leap, one that depends on his reputation and the success of the NextGen account. Claire's presentation is his ticket too. They're a team after all. If it flops, they both go down. I start thinking about how to sabotage it, not just with whispers of scandal but with something tangible. I hack into Claire's work cloud. Her password's still the kids' birthdays, God help her, and download the latest version of her presentation. It's slick, polished, full of buzzwords and flashy visuals. I spend a night tweaking it, subtle changes that won't be obvious until she's in front of the room. A typo in a key slide, a graph with inflated numbers that won't hold up under scrutiny, a link to a case study that now redirects to a blank page. Nothing blatant, just enough to make her look sloppy, unprepared. I also find a draft of Jeremy's pitch deck for the same conference, buried in a shared folder. I make similar edits, small errors, inconsistent data, a formatting glitch that'll throw off his flow. It's petty, maybe, but it's a start. I want them rattled, second-guessing themselves before the real blow lands. The day before Claire's flight, I'm a model husband. I pack her a lunch, kiss her goodbye, tell her to knock 'em dead at the conference. She beams, oblivious, and I feel a pang of something. Guilt, maybe, or regret for what's coming. But then I think of that watch, of her texts, of the way she laughed with Jeremy at the Ivy, and the pang vanishes. I drive to the kids' school for pickup, and Sophie asks why mom's been so distracted lately. I deflect, saying work's been tough, but her question sticks with me. The kids are collateral damage in this, and that's the one thing I can't plan around. That night, I finalize my moves. The emails are scheduled to send during Claire's presentation. Time to hit inboxes when she's mid-pitch. I've also arranged for a courier to deliver a package to Emily, Jeremy's wife, on the same day. It's a simple manila envelope, no return address, containing a printout of the hotel receipts and a single photo of Jeremy and Claire at the Ivy, his hand on her back. I don't need to spell it out. Emily's smart enough to connect the dots. Friday morning, Claire leaves for the airport. Her suitcase packed with that blue dress and a new set of lingerie I found tucked in her drawer. I wave as she pulls out of the driveway, then head to my office and open my laptop. I track her flight, watch it take off on time, and imagine her sitting next to Jeremy, their hands brushing as they share a laugh. The thought fuels me, keeps me focused. I spend the day with the kids, taking them to a movie to keep things normal, but my phone's never far. I'm waiting for the first domino to fall. It happens at 2 p.m. Claire's presentation is scheduled for 1:30, and I know the emails have landed. I picture the next-gen CEO checking his phone mid-pitch, frowning at the anonymous tip about unprofessional conduct. I imagine the HR director at the agency opening her inbox to a vague but damning suggestion of ethics violations. And Emily, she'll get the package any minute now, delivered to her doorstep while Jeremy's across the country. Oblivious. I don't hear from Claire until 6 p.m. when she texts me, "Presentation was a mess. Clients upset. Call you later." It's curt, unlike her usual chatty updates, and I know my tweaks worked. I reply with a sympathetic, "That sucks, babe. You'll get him next time," and pour myself a whiskey. The kids are in the living room, playing a board game, and I keep the TV on to drown out my thoughts. I'm not celebrating, not yet. There's more to come. By 9 p.m., my phone buzzes again. It's a number I don't recognize, but the area code's Chicago. I answer, and it's Jeremy. His voice is tight, panicked. "Daniel, we need to talk. It's about Claire." I stay calm, my tone neutral, like I'm clueless. "What's up, man? Everything okay?" He stammers, says something about a misunderstanding, that he and Claire are just colleagues. But there's been some gossip at the conference. I let him ramble, my silence making him squirm, until he hangs up, promising to clear things up. I know what's happening. The emails have done their job, sowing doubt, and Emily's probably confronted him by now. I check Claire's location. She's still at the conference hotel, but her texts with Jeremy have stopped. I imagine her in her room, reeling from the botched presentation, maybe hearing whispers about the anonymous tips. I wonder if she's piecing it together, if she suspects me. She's smart, but she's underestimated me just like Jeremy has. The next morning, I get a call from the agency's HR director. She's polite but direct, asking if I've noticed anything unusual with Claire's work habits. I play dumb, say she's been stressed but nothing specific, and ask if everything's okay. She doesn't give details, just says they're looking into some concerns. I hang up, satisfied. The seeds are sprouting. Claire comes home Sunday, her face drawn, her eyes red. She says the conference was a disaster, that NextGen's pulling their account, and there's talk of an internal review at the agency. I hug her, murmur reassurances, but inside I'm cold. She doesn't mention Jeremy, but I see her phone light up with his name later, and she steps outside to take the call. I don't eavesdrop, I don't need to. The trap's already sprung. Over the next week, the fallout unfolds. Claire's demoted to a junior role, her promotion dreams shattered. Jeremy's sidelined, his partner track derailed. I hear through a mutual contact that Emily's left him, moving out of their condo with their dog. The agency's scrambling to salvage the NextGen account, but the damage is done. Claire's quieter now, withdrawn, and I catch her staring at me sometimes, like she's trying to figure out what I know. I keep up the act, cooking dinner, planning the camping trip, but I'm not done. The final piece is personal. I wait until the kids are at school, then sit Claire down at the kitchen table. I slide the velvet bag with the watch across to her, the inscription, "To Jay, always," gleaming under the light. Her face goes pale, and she starts to stammer, but I cut her off. "I know everything," I say, my voice steady. "Jeremy, the hotel, the lies. You've got one chance to tell me why." She breaks, sobbing, spilling half-truths about feeling trapped, about Jeremy being a mistake. I listen, stone-faced, then tell her I need time to think. I don't mention the emails, the sabotage, the package to Emily. She doesn't need to know. That night, I move to the guest room. I'm not divorcing her, not yet. The kids need stability, and I need her to live with the wreckage she's created. She's lost her career momentum, her lover, her confidence. Every time she looks at me, she'll see the man who outplayed her, who turned her betrayal into her undoing. It's not violence, not shouting, it's worse. It's the slow, cold burn of consequences. I pour another whiskey, open my laptop, and delete the burner account. The dossier stays locked away just in case. I lean back, the house quiet, and let the satisfaction settle in. Claire's still here, but she's not the same. Neither am I, and that's exactly how I wanted it.